Hello, thank you for agreeing to be interviewed today on the subject of reading. Rosa, I'll ask you first. How important is reading in your life? And first of all, let's talk about practical reading, not reading for pleasure, but practical reading.
Practical reading, reading for finding stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's something I do less than I do reading for pleasure, or I do it so much throughout the day that I barely notice that I'm doing it. But we're going to be, I don't know, recipes and instructions and things like that.
Does that mean that the practical reading you do tends to be very short bits of practical reading?
Yeah.
Rather than longer texts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess training for work and things like that, it's going to be might be a bit more involved, or work emails, that kind of stuff. It takes up quite a lot of your day, actually. But what was the question?
Yeah, so how important is it? Maybe you could give us a couple of examples of things that you would find extremely difficult without the ability to read.
Well, certainly at work, if you are not up to date with your emails, you can find that you don't know something that your colleagues know that you should be doing, or where you should be. So it's an absolutely vital part of our working lives, that's for sure.
What about you, Dan? What about practical reading in your life? Does it play a big part?
Oh, practical reading is really, really important. I do it all day, every day. Everything I need to do, I end up using the internet, looking up opening times of shops, looking up things I need to buy, looking up how to do things. I've just bought a new home, so I'm always looking up how to make something or how to fix something. I'm always looking up how to get somewhere, reading the news to find out, about the weather, to find out about what's going on in Brighton if I want to take my kids somewhere. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, I read practically constantly all the time.
What the impression I'm getting from both of you is that practical reading is absolutely vital to your lives, and without quite good practical reading skills, you couldn't manage.
Definitely.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's turn to reading for pleasure now, though, or reading for other reasons. Rosa, how often do you read?
I read for pleasure almost every day. It's part of my ritual, going to bed ritual, and I don't think I could. It's part of my going to sleep ritual. I don't think I could go without it now. It's my favourite hobby, I guess, if it counts as a hobby. Yeah.
And so tell us, if it's so important to you, what's the last book that you read?
I'm terrible at remembering titles and things like that. At the moment, I'm reading a Peter Carey novel.
Oh, I've read him. Which one are you reading?
It's the latest one before last, and it's Parrot in America, I think, is the title of it. And I'm struggling with it, finding it quite difficult. But these days, I will keep reading a book that I find difficult. Even though I might get a bit lost, I don't put them down anymore. But I enjoy actually getting past that feeling of I'm not really enjoying this one, and waiting to see if it turns into something great, because often they do.
What do you mean by it's a bit difficult? Do you mean hard to follow?
It's historical, so it's set at the time of the French Revolution, and it's about the characters are travelling to escape to America. These aristocrats escape to America, and it's that they go with a group of people. Some are servants, some are aristocrats, and it's following. So I got a bit confused with the characters. There's a lot of characters, but I love reading historical novels because that's a great way to learn about history.
Okay. Yeah. And what about you, Dan? Is reading for pleasure a big part of your life?
Absolutely, exactly like Rosa. I have to have a book before I go to bed, or on the train, or just going anywhere really. I have to have a book with me, more than anything else, phone or money or anything. If I haven't got a book, I'm naked. Really.
You feel lost a bit.
I feel completely lost. I love it. I love reading. I love getting into bed and reading a book and escaping into another world.
Can you say anything else about why you love it so much?
Well, as Rosa said, it's learning about a different world, different people. It's exciting. You use your imagination,
and it's the wonder of the person who wrote it, their imagination as well. It's always fascinating. Someone else's.
Absolutely, exactly. Seeing somebody else's
imagination.
Point of view. Yeah. And I mean, I don't just read novels. I read factual biographies. I read comics. There's lots of different kinds of reading that I like.